Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome to this week's report. I want to just get right into it, and today I'm explaining why it's important to diversify among different markets, among fixed income and just your traditional U.S. stock market. So I want to just first talk about some returns, historical returns. In the S&P 500, if you look at what was called the lost decade, from 2000 to 2009, you had a negative return in the market. So you could have gone 10 years of your money being invested in equities, in U.S. equities, and had a negative return. From 1926, though, to 2012, or even to 2013, you've had almost your money's compounded at 10%, meaning your money doubles every 7 years at 10% interest. So substantial return over that period. And then from 1929 to 1942, another prolonged 14-year period where your money still is negative if you had invested just in the S&P 500. So now you go to the alternative. Treasuries, fixed income. What could you have done if you were only invested in treasuries? So look at from 1926 to 2013, 3.5% is what your money would have done. There's never been any negative periods in 1 month U.S. Treasuries. Looking back to 1933 to 48, long periods of time, all the way really from 2000 to today of virtually no return, though. You're talking under 2% return. 2001 to 2013, 1.6% rate of return. Looking at periods where there's been high inflation, 1966 to 1982, 7.1%. So a very long, prolonged period of time where you would have done very well with your money just invested in 1 month U.S. Treasuries, when compared to the S&P 500, actually would have done better over almost, a 16-year period. But now let's look at real rates of return. And when you look at the real rates of return, meaning your return after inflation, which is ultimately what matters, you've got pretty much, outside of the early years of the Great Depression, negative return, real rate of return in 1 month U.S. Treasuries from 2000 to 2013, almost a 0.5% negative real rate of return, as you can see, as interest rates are low. Outside of the deflationary period in the early 1930s, negative real rates of return. But also in U.S. equities from 65 to 81, a negative real rate of return. From 2000 to 2013, even though we've had great years, still just very slightly positive real rate of return, return after inflation of 1.2%. So what do you do about this situation when you can have prolonged periods of negative real rate of return? And the key is diversification. If you look up here, the USA makes up 49% of the world market. That leaves 51% outside to be invested. And you can see we had great years like this past year, 30 some odd percent in the S&P 500, but still the importance of diversification over time. One thing I love to illustrate is you may have heard about Spain negatively in the market. When you compare Spain, makes up almost 1% of the market capitalization. It's roughly about the exact same size as Apple. So that's to put things in perspective. Just to wrap it up, what can you do? You have a balanced portfolio of equities, and although there have been prolonged periods of negative returns, when you balance it, you smooth the ride, and you don't take the negatives that you ultimately have. Hope this makes some sense to you. We can get into more detail. Just call us at our office, 770-984-2312, or go to our website, bearwealth.com. Have a great day.